Hello and welcome to another edition of PAC's Check-ins. Today I'm joined by Kramer, the President and CEO of the Central Washington State Fair Association. Thank you for joining me today, Kathy.
Oh, my pleasure, Sean. Thank you for having me.
Now, this time of year, we're usually talking about fair fun and going out to the fair, but in the situations we're in, things have changed. Can you explain that a little bit? And you've got an alternative for people coming up. Can you talk about that?
You bet. Thank you. Well, we made a decision in late June as COVID continued to plague us all that it was the right decision to cancel the 2020 Central Washington State Fair. And when you cancel something, like, okay, what can we do? Is there some element of the fair that we can bring to the community? That was important for us to do that. And we know one of the top reasons people attend fairs is for the fair food. Plus, we couldn't imagine going a whole year without having you enjoy some of your fair food favorites. So that's really how Fair Food Fest was birthed. We quickly reached out to the Yakima Health District to get their approval. They were fine with what we were doing. Everything's predicated on it's a drive-through experience. You must stay in your cars and doing that. So they've been a great partner along the way to help us as we're building this drive-through fair food experience.
Wonderful. Now, how did the idea for this come about? You've explained a little bit about what it was. Obviously, a lot of thought has gone into how to bring this forward. How did it come about for you guys?
Well, as we were rolling into late June, and it was pretty obvious we were going to have to cancel the fair. And for me, being new as the new CEO here, I'm like, okay, we've got to be able to do something. What can we do? I mean, we first talked to the health district. Can we maybe, could there be a carnival element? So we just got real creative, and the common denominator was the food, because we could comply with all the social distancing requirements, right, and PPE, and also just being very resourceful. So not only are we doing it, but if you look across the nations, most of the fairs across the country have been canceled, and they too have created some sort of a food drive-through experience. Some of the larger destinations, like the California market that I came from, are doing a multiple weekends. We were fortunate enough, and just made sense that we would just do one big weekend and concentrate on a four-day run. And we had vendors from around the region, Idaho, Oregon, that are going to be joining us.
Wonderful.
I'm sorry. When you deliver bad news, I'm a proponent of, it's part of my mantra is, if you're going to say no, find a solution. What can be an alternative? And so really out of that mindset, well, no, we can't hold the annual beloved fair, so what can we do? And so here we are today, just about a week from today, ready to host Fair Food Fest.
Wonderful. Now, how can people participate? We've got some dates set. It's coming up pretty soon. How can people participate, and where can they find some information?
Well, good question. Well, first, how about the dates? The dates are next Thursday, September 17th through the 20th. We have 11 different vendors, including some of our local nonprofits, Everyone's Elephant Ears, Young Life Barbecue Sandwiches. I know we've got everything posted on fairfun.com. And if you have that technology, wouldn't you mind pulling that up, and we can walk through some of those points?
Let me share that with people here.
Perfect.
There is the website. So.
All right.
And this is fairfun.com. So people just go to fairfun.com.
Correct.
There are the dates right there.
Absolutely. So you can see, depending on what day you want to come, the hours vary a little bit. I am going
to go to, you just click here, and this is the page for the Fair Food Fest website.
Correct. So we wanted to, not only do we have dates where there's a section for FAQs, so any question you could possibly think about is, we hope we've addressed. We've talked about the location, and more importantly, all of the vendors that are participating in Fair Food Fest, you're scrolling right now, you can plan what you're going to order on your drive-through experience well in advance. You see the stand numbers, you see the menu items and the prices.
All the fair favorites here.
Well, We tried to get as diverse as we could. We don't have all of them, but
Right.
certainly there's going to be something for everyone.
Yeah, lots of good stuff here. It looks wonderful. I am going to come back out of this real quick.
Okay.
Now, if people want to participate, explain the event a little bit. I know very little about it. It's a drive-through. You'll enter. Tell me how you enter, exit. There'll be a couple lanes for people to go through, correct?
Absolutely. You will enter the property on gate 15. It's also very important for our community to understand the traffic flow. You will not be allowed to turn onto Pacific to enter gate 15 from South Fair Avenue. You're going to have to come off of Nob Hill and go around the back side of the fairgrounds on 18th Street. So once you enter the gate on 15 or gate 15 off of Pacific, you will be funneled through a queuing area. One of the first stops is going to be our information booth. At that information booth, you're going to be handed a menu. So in case you didn't make your choices in advance, while you're being queued in line, you're going to have a map of all the vendors and you're going to have a menu. You're also, some of our great sponsors, our presenting sponsor, Yakima Federal. We've got a lot of other, have got goodies in the bag and another vendor. So there'll be fun things for you to look at, you know, and every car will get one goodie bag. You'll continue through the drive-through. And then out in the parking lot, Young Life, some of the kids from the Young Life organization will be selling beverages. And then you'll wind around. The next stop on the as you're going through the path will be a canned food drive. One of the things that was important for us is to provide some type of community give back. You know, we know that the local food banks have been significantly impacted by the pandemic. So to help them restock their shelves, if you bring 3 canned food items, you're going to receive 1 free admission ticket to the 2021 Central Washington State Fair. I do have to say, unfortunately, it's limit 1 per vehicle. The Downtown Rotary Club, along with the other Rotary clubs, will be managing the canned food drive for us for all 4 days. So once you drop off your food items, your canned food items, you'll proceed to the route, and then we have some really fun things. Have you ever heard of a car selfie?
No, I don't think I have.
Well,
interesting.
There we go. I bet not, because it was something that we created, like to be creative, you know, the fun.
Wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, the fair is every year, we thought, what could we do? The fair every year, what do people do? They come here and they create memories. They take photos, they take selfies. How could we, from the safety of the car, have this same experience? So I think it was one of those 3 o'clock in the morning creative modes that I had. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we must do a car selfie. They can stay in their cars. We will take their photo and we can give it back to them and have some fun with that. So I reached out to one of our sponsors, Coca-Cola, and I said, hey, how would you like to be the sponsor of the car selfie station? They loved it. So here's how it's going to work. When you drive underneath a commemorative banner that will be placed 8 feet high, 8 feet above, so we can see the car. And then this banner, this Coca-Cola banner that's going to be fun and wild, just like all of the graphics you saw on the website, it will say, I got my fair food fix 2020. So, you know, again, we're commemorating at least what iteration of the fair experience we could have. So you will drive underneath there. We want you to, everybody waving and saying hi. Our staff will take your photo and then immediately get your email address and you will have that photo back. So you've got a commemorative car selfie. So wash your cars, because your car is going to be on showcased.
Right.
You know, your car selfie. So now we've done this, is we've been queuing you through the lot. Then you'll start to enter the food experience. There are 2 lanes. One lane is, and they're very clearly marked with cones. One lane will say, if you want to order, you'll go one direction, or if you want to skip, and you'll be able to weave in and out through those lanes. Each one of our vendors is also going to have an area where you can pull off. So if you do order something, process your transaction, it might take a minute or 2 to cook or prepare. And then once you have that, you will be redirected back into the flow. It is a one-way traffic program all the way around around the fairgrounds, coming through 10 different food experiences.
Now, a question I would have, Is it to go? Will there be any seating available, or is this you drive through, pick it up, and take it?
Yes, unfortunately, with the regulations we had
Right.
to operate, you need to take your food, and once you
Right.
get it, you can either eat it in the car, take it in the home, find a park, whatever. But I
Right.
don't have any
Right.
outdoor seating,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Well, and that's part of the times that we live in.
I
We're
know.
adapting to what we have and the regulations we need to
Oh, yeah.
follow. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our community to get a taste of the fair, and we all
Yeah.
know that smell, know
Hmm.
that my mouth is kind
Absolutely.
of watering just thinking about corn dogs and elephant ears and stuff like that. So
Well,
it's a wonderful opportunity for at least the community to
yeah.
actually get to the fairgrounds too and see that familiar spot. And I think that's a great
Well,
thing also.
it kind of brings a little bit of normalcy, if you know what I
Right.
mean. That's not only all of that, it was the right thing to do. We knew we wanted to bring some element, all the above. And like I said, who could go a whole year without having their favorite fair food?
Exactly.
We are also doing some other surprises to keep people entertained, if you would. We have
Wonderful.
on multiple days, local radio stations will be doing live remotes. Our presenting sponsor, Yakima Federal, if you haven't seen their mascot, Pink Penny, she is a blow up piggy bank, if you would. So she's going to be there. We're doing a little bit of decor, trying to, as much as we can, from everyone staying in the safety of their car. We also will have music playing on the property because it was important to have the sights and sounds. And as you said, they'll be barbecuing.
The
Everyone knows
smells.
that familiar smell as you
Yeah.
come around to Young Life, and or corn roasting, and as much as we could create from the comfort of their car.
Wonderful. We've talked about a lot of stuff. What else? I know you had mentioned there are some exciting things coming up in 2021. We don't want to forget about that. I don't want you to reveal any secrets, but
Yeah.
what can you tell me about 2021?
Before I do, if you don't mind, I want to, and then we'll skip to 2021.
Okay.
There's one thing I want to remind the community as they come out and support Fair Food Fest is this is not your traditional drive-through experience. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So as I said, bring the kiddos, bring Fido, bring your iPad, just come out and enjoy the experience and be in the support, because it will take a little bit of time to get through this. We have learned best practices from some of the other food events around the country, and as best we can from traffic flow and to keep things expedited. But let's face it, you want your food to be fresh and hot.
Right.
And so we'll just understand it's not going to be your traditional, you're going to have to plan a couple hours to go through the whole experience.
Right, and that's what it is. It's an experience.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
drive-through version of the fair this year.
Mhm,
It's the
mhm.
COVID version of the Central Washington State Fair.
Oh, I know.
So,
Oh,
okay, now 2021. Let's talk a little bit about that. Like I say, I don't want you to give us all your secrets, but I would love any little bits of information you can give
let me
us.
see. What do I want to tease our audience with today? Well, I can tell you that we sometime this fall or early first quarter, we're going to ask the community to help us pick the theme. So we're going to have a Name the Fair theme contest. So stay tuned for that. I think it's really important to get the community engaged in that. So that'll be coming. We are working on refreshing some of our marketing materials, a new website. Stay tuned. All of our parent logo, State Fair Park, is getting a little refresh, as is the Yakima Valley Sundome, as well as the fair. And the fair is going to be that logo, and what we stand for is really going to be resonated through that new branding. So that's just, and as we speak, so if you hear some noise in the background, all the trades are on grounds, if you would. And we've been, while this COVID has been happening, we've been continuing to move forward with our $8 million capital projects. So the list goes on. I won't tip my hat to some of the new entertainment options and some other things until we're ready to roll that out. But I can promise you that I hear the community loud and clear that, the fair's been what's new, what's different, while we're still staying on mission about our education on agricultural initiatives. So stay tuned. I promise when we're ready to do the big reveal on all of the things, the community is going to be pleasantly surprised, about all the great things that we've got planned for their fair.
Wonderful. We've talked about a lot of stuff. I can't wait to enjoy my taste of the fair. We will
Good,
definitely come
good.
through multiple days, probably.
Good,
So,
good.
you can't get
Oh.
enough fair food, and so I look forward to it very much. And thank you for joining
Oh,
me
you
today,
bet.
and thank you for taking an interest in our community. I know this was supposed to be your first fair. We're all getting through it, and we can't wait for some of the things that you have for us to look forward to.
You bet. Thank you, Sean. Again, just so excited that the community, the buzz is already out there, even on our social media platforms. Much as you said, I'm coming multiple days. People are just so excited to, this is their beloved fair, and just to be able to have that experience around the food, and that really is going to connect us to some sense of normalcy, really. So, yeah. So come and see us, fairfun.com, September 17th through the 20th, 1 week from today. And make sure you give the car a little scrub, because your car and you are going to be having some fun at the car selfie station.
Right. Wonderful. Well, thank you, and thank your staff, and
Yes.
and we will talk to you very soon.
You bet. Thank you, Sean. We'll see you at Fair Food Fest.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining us.
You bet. Bye-bye.